Welcome to Learning Power. In this video, we are looking at the cosine relation in trigonometry. So trigonometry is about right angle triangles. So that's the right angle corner over there. The longest side of a right angle triangle is called the hypotenuse. Now, if that's the angle of concern, then this side over here is the adjacent side, and that side will be called the opposite side. So in the cosine rule, we are interested in the hypotenuse and the adjacent. So the cosine relation, or we also call it the cosine ratio. What is the cosine formula? The cosine formula is the cosine of the angle theta would be equal to the adjacent side length divided by the length of the hypotenuse. This is the cosine relationship or the cosine ratio. The cosine of the given angle of concern is equal to the adjacent side length divided by the length of the hypotenuse. Let's try to do a couple of examples to understand it better, and definitely we'll be using the calculator. You can solve it for an unknown side. You can also solve for an unknown angle. So in question 1, we're solving for the unknown side m, and in question 2, we'll be finding the unknown angle x. So the trigonometric relationship sine, cosine, and tangent can be used to find an unknown side of a right angle triangle or also an unknown angle, provided the two respective side lengths are given. So let's solve the first one. In this triangle over here, the angle is 60 degrees, the hypotenuse is 9.2 centimeters, and the adjacent side is m. So if we put those values into the formula, the cosine of 60 degrees would be equal to adjacent side, which is m, divided by the hypotenuse, which is equal to 9.2. The cosine of 60 equals m divided by 9.2. So we can swap the left hand side and the right hand side. M divided by 9.2 is equal to the cosine of 60 degrees. So the 9.2 dividing over here goes that side and becomes times, multiplication. So m equals the cosine of 60 degrees multiplied by 9.2. So from here we need to use the calculator. Scientific calculator, we'll turn it on. So cosine of 60 degrees multiplied by 9.2. So I'll put cosine of 60 degrees in brackets, open bracket, cosine of 60 degrees, and then I'll close the bracket just to be safe, to be getting the correct answer, multiplied by cosine of 60 degrees multiplied by 9.2, 9.2. Cosine of 60 degrees multiplied by 9.2. And if we get a long decimal answer, we'll round it off to 2 decimal place. Okay, good. We're getting 4.6. So our answer over here for the length of m is equal to 4.6. The original length was in centimeters, so this one will be in centimeters as well. So that's solving example 1 to find the length of m. Let's look at example 2, finding the size of the unknown angle x using the cosine ratio. We cannot use the sine or the tangent ratio over here because we are dealing with the adjacent side and the hypotenuse. So we will have to use the cosine ratio. So we begin with the formula. Cosine of the angle theta is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So instead of angle theta, we've got x. The cosine of the angle x will be equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. The adjacent side over here is 7.66. And the hypotenuse length is 10. We don't need to put meters or centimeters in the formula. We'll put it at the end when we get the answer, if it is required. But here we are solving for the unknown angle x. So cosine of x equals 7.66 divided by 10. Now if you simplify the right hand side, 7.66 divided by 10 becomes, so cos of x on the left is equal to 0.766. Because anything divided by 10, you just shift the decimal point once towards the left hand side. So cosine of angle x equals 0.766. Now the value of angle x will be equal to the cosine inverse of 0.766. Because when cosine moves from here to the other side, it becomes cosine inverse. So let's see how to do it on the calculator. We put it to 0. So we are doing cosine inverse. So first we have to press the shift key, the second function. The second function, sine. So you can see on the screen it says sine inverse. And then I usually like to put open bracket of 0.766 and then close bracket. Sine inverse or inverse sine of 0.766. So let's see if we press equal, how many degrees it gives. 49.996. So the angle x is equal to 49.996 degrees. Now we have to usually round off to 2 decimal place. So if we round this off to 2 decimal place, what do we get? So 2 decimal place is here, the second decimal place. Since 6 is 5 or more than 5, we add 1 to the 9 over here in the second digit. So that becomes a 10 with a carry 1. And that becomes a 10 and a carry 1 becomes 50. So to round it off to 2 decimal place, it will become 50 degrees. So the unknown angle x over here is equal to 50 degrees. So that is the cosine relation. And we have solved an example to find an unknown side and an unknown angle. So I hope you've learned about the cosine relationship over here and how to apply it. Thanks for watching.